And now for our feature presentation.
This is great because on the back it actually says this film is also known as
the I'll Watch It Later podcast.
You ever heard of that film?
And now, on with the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to I'll Watch It Later podcast, the podcast where we lie about the movies we've seen to impress our friends. As always, I am Aaron, joined by my best friend and almost ruiner of the show, Jordan.
Fuck off. And Nope. Start over. Best friend and guy who's always right, but just needs a day to cool off. Jordan. Hi, everybody.
Old fucking Slash and Axel here almost fucking split the band.
And my brother-in-law, producer, and best friend, Scott.
Yeah, but which one of us is getting fat and won't be popular anymore?
Me.
It's too late.
I'm already fat, so it's all good.
Moving on from that.
Jesus Christ.
I always gotta
okay, so we get you in the morning, you're too cranky and you're too tired. We get you right before lunch and you're too hungry and too cranky. We get you at 8 o'clock. The energy is up, but you're an asshole.
What? That's just
There's no middle ground. We need to record at 6.
That's the personality I bring to the show.
The middle ground
is the asshole guy that does asshole things. Anyways, we've gotten a bunch of new listeners this week. I know that there is a guy on Instagram named Bob's Blu-rays who has been passionately listening and sending in his thoughts to me, and I super appreciate you listening, man. I hope you're enjoying the show. This is your shout out that I said I would do, and we might actually have him on the show at some point. I talked to him about that. He's one of those influencer guy thingies that collects movies and has a lot of followers on
Official
Instagram. So
I don't know why when you said he shares his thoughts, and I'm thinking like Unabomber type shit. He's like, you ever think what you look like without your skin?
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob, for listening. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and he's like, he's a really good dude. I think he's one of those big collectors, and we've been chatting the last week. Clearly, we're going to talk about my movie tonight, but before that, I know we
have to.
We don't. Yeah, I know we don't have to. We're gonna get to our Jurassic Park Dominion review next week because all three of us are going tonight to see it. So we'll all have a review for you for that next week. I flew to motherfucking Austin, Texas yesterday, and it went about as badly as you could imagine because I'm terrible at being alive.
I thought we weren't going to talk about what happened early in the week.
So I went to Austin for the show. I picked up the snacks for the show. I am the great provider. I just want you all to know that Aaron with a D, great provider, the greatest. I picked up the new chips. I picked up a bunch of new snacks. Next snack show is going to be off the chain epic. We really hope you guys enjoy it because
I'm not gonna lie, I hate this version of you right now.
I am the provider.
This is not good.
I provide the snacks.
We can't do this.
Actually, I'm very excited.
He's got tubs of potato salad and stuff he brought back. And
I'm actually really excited. I don't care that I bought all the snacks. It was my pleasure to buy all the snacks.
Then half of them exploded on the airplane on the way back.
No, didn't all of our snacks made it?
Oh, ours made it?
Yeah, ours made it.
Okay.
My personal ones and ones we were going to send to people didn't, not so much. But
they're not listening. Fuck off! You're not getting chips.
No, I did bring one to give you to send to some friends. I mean, we're personal shit on the show, but I had two. One of them exploded. The only people I've tried the chips in this house are my wife and your wife, Scott. So they already said too much, in my opinion. So 3 weeks from now, we will try the Austin snacks. However, if you are someone I met in Austin, thank you so much for listening, because let me tell you, when I had to explain what I was doing yesterday to a bunch of people, first off, they thought that this podcast was bigger than it was.
Shh, don't know. We're big.
We're huge.
We're huge.
We're huge.
We're right behind Rogan.
Huge, really big. Joe Rogan calls
picking up
us.
his scraps. Let me get that for you, sir.
2 is some of the nicest people I've ever met on my life, and I'm gonna I already regret this because I forgot his name. But the first guy I met on the plane, if you're listening, which I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to tell this story on the show. He was watching The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent on the plane.
Almost rewatched that.
And he did not like it, and it bummed me out a little bit. But it's okay. It's okay that he didn't like it.
7 situation.
It's okay that he didn't like it. And now, if he was on the show,
right,
I could scream and yell at him and tell him how wrong he is.
Well, if he was one of my close personal friends, we'd have a very intense argument about it. However, he did give
it a 3.5.
He didn't like it at all. He was like, I thought it would be funny. I didn't laugh. I was like, well, we're on a plane. You're watching it on.
He's like, am I riding next to Scott on this fucking flight?
No, he gave me a movie that I'm actually gonna watch. It's called The Visitor, and I think I'm gonna pick it at one point. I'm just not sure when, and nobody here's heard of it. But it's
who's in it?
I don't know. Nothing. Nobody. But he pulled up his Plex server, and I had seen literally every movie he had, and he said that it was one of his favorite movies. And it's anytime he asks for movie recommendations, that's one he recommends.
This is his Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Everyone says, hey, what's a really good action movie? Equilibrium.
Right. Like, no one's ever seen that.
I love that movie.
And people are always like, you ever seen Equilibrium? And you're like, yes, I existed in 2002, like whenever it came out, and everyone thinks that they found it. You know about Equilibrium? Like, yes, I do. You're not special in any way. I know everything there is to know about Equilibrium. But
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen this theatrical poster, but I have not seen
it. And that's what I told him. I said that poster looks incredibly familiar.
It does.
But I never seen that movie. He says music plays a big part in it, and it's about immigration or something. I'm not 100% sure.
Something about life is like a box of chocolates, I think.
But we're definitely going to check that out, and I really appreciate you listening. I'm so sorry I forgot your name. It was a hectic day after we met because I wound up meeting all the characters in Austin, Texas. So the goal was, what I was supposed to do yesterday was...
God, was that yesterday? God, it feels like forever ago.
I know. Was grab a suitcase as I left the house and went to the airport. And by the time I was halfway to the airport, I was like, completely forgot my suitcase. So here's how this all went down. And I'm going to admit to a crime on this podcast. So, Austin Police, if you're looking for me, here is your evidence.
Total mistake.
It's because of all the things happening in Texas right now, you're the top priority.
Right. So I touch down in Texas and I head over to the HEB, the Hebes as they call it.
Hebes.
And it is the worst grocery store I've ever been inside.
It's like a Food City, Food Lion.
I don't know. Whatever.
Just dilapidated.
It's dilapidated. If whatever city you're living in right now, you think of the worst grocery store you've ever had, like you've ever been in, it smells like seafood.
Oh God, those are the worst.
Humid inside.
Fucking Mickey Rourke's overworking in the deli.
Yeah, there's stuff instead of stuff being like on the shelves, it's just on boxes on the floor. Now, a lot of people are going to say Aldi on the East Coast. The Aldis here are very nice.
No. Aldi on the West Coast is also supposedly like really terrible. I told my boss about Aldi, and he goes, "Yeah, the ones in San Diego, we've learned not to go to them."
Right.
And I'm like, "Really?" Because the one down the street is phenomenal.
And that's what I was going to say is the only experience I've ever had with Aldi is a good experience, and
I've had
everything's like fresh. It's on the shelf. But a lot of people have told me that Aldi is a bad. But so imagine your Aldi, not our Aldi. But it was a fright show. So I had while I was taking.
Did you ever see Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah. While I was taking my lift from the airport to the HEB, I looked and saw if HEB had backpacks, and according to the website, they do. So I get there. First thing I do is I go up to this lady and I'm like, "Got any backpacks?" And she says, "Nope, that's only seasonal thing when we go back to school. We have no backpacks." And I was like,
"Hey Frank, we need you to watch this guy who just asked for backpacks. Keep an eye on this guy."
Says he flew in with no luggage.
I didn't tell anyone about the situation.
Fucking Daryl from Store 30 called over and fucking told us this guy stiffed him last week.
It was Dustin.
Dustin from Store 30.
I get all the snacks that I'm going to get, and all I can think of is, okay, I'll take an Uber to the next place I'm going, and I'll have him stop at a Walmart or a Target, and whatever's closer, and I will I will put the stuff in there. I'll get a suitcase and I'll put it in there. I'll just buy a suitcase.
Hey, you know where would be a good place for snacks? Dollar Tree.
For real. So I get all of our snacks, and you guys are going to love it. We have so much stuff from Texas. I've already tried the peanut
bags
butter.
are huge.
The peanut butter with honey. Oh, super good. I made myself a peanut butter, honey, and banana sandwich today. Incredible. And
I'm
I know,
shocked that he didn't even wait a day to try these.
Oh, why would I? Why would I? Would you?
Yes, because I like my friends.
He was.
No.
He
The-
was
the
just kidding.
peanut
He
butter
was two-fingering fucking peanut butter on the plane ride home.
No.
Why does that guy in row 5 have a jar of peanut butter?
Why is it smeared on his chest?
Peanut butter was
Not a liquid. I could bring it on.
the peanut butter was for old Aaron. That was that. You guys can definitely try it, but that was for this guy. So I get all our snacks and I ring and I go and I don't know how this place works. So I'm putting. So what I'm
Grocery
saying.
store.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how grocery stores in Texas work.
They don't even line up.
Well, you'll understand what I mean by that. So as I'm sitting there watching this lady ring me up, and I spend a total of $57 on groceries in Texas.
On chips, not even groceries. Like he's not buying like fruit. He's buying fruit flavored things, but he's not buying fruit. Groceries.
I notice that the bagger is just putting the stuff back into the cart loose.
It's like Aldi.
So I look at her and I go, do you have bags? Yep, 30 cents a piece.
Yep.
I was like, oh, fuck. All right. So she starts loading up these bags. I bought 3 bags. She loads up the bags, and all I can think, and I have to order my Uber now. And now I'm just standing outside Aldi looking like a homeless.
3 bags of chips.
Is that where the Scott and you came out? You were like, I could probably squeeze it all into 2.
Kind of. So I
One
ordered.
carry-on, one personal item.
I ordered my Uber, and he shows up. His name is Dan. Very nice guy.
The first guy's like, oh, he remembers Dan.
No, the only reason I remember Dan is because I had to say his name 18 times because I was like, listen here, Dan, I'm going to need you to take me to a Target or a Walmart or whatever is the closest, and then I'm going to this place, and whatever, can you wait for me? Like, the tip will be insane for you. And he's like, okay.
Do you like HEB chips?
Yeah. And so as I'm driving, I'm going to tip you in chips, Dan. He tells me that HEB that I went to is like the oldest HEB in Austin.
Oh, this is us getting Sonoran dogs, and we went to the most ghetto one. Got it.
He goes, hey, if you go more into the city, man, those HEBs are nice. They're like malls. I'm like,
God damn it.
I was like,
Do they have backpacks there?
You know what, Dan?
Yeah.
You know what,
It's
Dan?
in
F
school
you.
season every time.
So I didn't realize I was in the most gentrified part of Austin, Texas. Like I'm watching people like standing outside of like methadone clinics. Everything's tagged up. This is however you feel about politics, I don't care. Giant murals of George Floyd on the side of buildings. I'm not kidding. I don't care what you think about that situation. It was just weird. It was awkward and weird because that was Austin, Texas. That didn't even happen in Texas. So I'm just sitting there like, where the fuck did I fly into? So like there's Kamala Harris on one building, Biden's on another, and I'm like, that's fine, whatever your political affiliate. I don't need giant erected monuments, but I'm freaking out. We get to one of those Targets. It's one of those Targets. It's like on ground level. That's like kind of attached to another building, and I'm like, this is.
Oh, I've seen those like Walmarts or Targets that are part of a mall.
Yes.
It's like a Sears.
It's like the
I'm like,
Walmart
why do I
Metro
like?
Center.
Yeah, I'm exiting near the. That's exactly the one I'm thinking of. Where it's like you leave near the changing rooms, and next thing you know, you're in a Oshman Sporting Goods.
Right, and it's. I swear the square footage is the size of my house. So I walk in and there's this
Probably the oldest Target.
very lovely girl there, and she goes, and I immediately walk up to her and I go, I don't have time to look around because my Uber Dan's waiting in the car for me, and I'm like, hey man, I told her, I said, hey, do you have any luggage? And she takes me over to this hard case luggage, $180, and I'm like,
Do you know who I am?
I said,
Do you have any backpacks?
no, I explained to her the situation. I said, look,
She's like, I'm giving you a discount for chips.
no, I said I flew in for the day. Trying to get out of here. I don't have a lot of places to stop. I got an Uber everywhere. Do you have a backpack? She's like, let me check the back. She comes back with a Jan Sport backpack, $54.99. I was like, whatever. So she walks me up to the front of the counter, and she's heard the story now. She knows the podcast. She knows everything. She knows everything that's going on. She understands my chip situation, and that's what I wound up calling it for the rest of the day.
It's the show title.
It's the chip situation. And she starts telling her manager, and as I'm sitting there talking to her manager, I'm doing the self-checkout, and I'm hitting all the buttons and blah, 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 and I sling the backpack over. And as I'm walking away, I kind of look down and I see that the the self-checkout thing says payment declined. Please use a different form of payment. But doesn't even register to me that it's me. So I just walk straight out the fucking door.
Oh my God.
Fucking 2 fingers in the air like that. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Go back to Dan. I start shoving chips into the backpack. Fits everything that I need it to fit perfectly. And those were all the stuff that survived, which I had to check this bag. So I stole the backpack, but not on purpose. Not like on purpose.
Can we like send it back with like show stickers and apologize?
I would
and
love
just
to.
like mail it to them.
I would love to, except the Southwest got chalk all over it. It's dirty as hell now. And I so if you're listening to this, you live in Austin, Texas, and you work at the downtown Target, I am so sorry. I stole that backpack. It was $54. I will gladly pay for it.
That's I'll watch it later podcast at gmail.com. Ask for errand.
Yes.
Next week, it's the I'll pay for it later.
I'll
podcast.
pay for it later podcast. I felt so bad.
Well, you save $54. The movie's on you tonight, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
You guys, you know how like you're talking to someone and just you're oblivious to everything around you and you're just muscle memory paying for stuff. Come to find out that my card was declined because I was using it in Texas and they were like, they thought it was fraudulent.
Right.
So, but I didn't even think about it because we were talking for so long that by the time I saw like, please use another payment method, I thought that somebody had already come along and started using the self-checkout too, because it was all self-checkout. There was no cashier because the Target was so small. So I'm like, I feel bad. I honestly, if you're listening, I feel terrible. Like I would gladly pay for.
I've done stuff like that where it's like you have everything in your cart, but then you have that one thing in the like where the child sits.
Yeah,
and you
falls
and like
to the side.
in the like it just kind of sits there, and then you're like checking everything out, and then you walk out, and then you look down, and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah,
I didn't pay for this gun.
yeah, and and now I have 3 AR-15. No, I just want people to know, like, it was a total, like, the guy was engaging me in conversation. He was from Chandler, Arizona. Like,
I feel like Scott should bleep a lot of that out.
no, it's all good.
Just in case
I don't
we
care.
get 57 followers and people
One's
hear
a
it.
cop.
One's a
He's
cop. I just happen to be an Austin police officer and Uber driver. I remember who you are. Thanks,
From
Dan.
Aaron the provider to Aaron on the run.
I'm a fugitive. Jeez, I think it's like what? I think like every state now has like a thing where it's like, oh, you can
Don't steal? Yeah, don't steal anything.
Yeah, you should.
I think it's the law.
Instead of stopping there, man, you should have ran over to the makeup counter and just started just filling your backpack up.
I think like if it's less than
Right.
like
Could you imagine?
$5,000, it's not a
You're like,
risk
I want to
for
buy
me.
this backpack. Don't look inside of it.
Just let them go type of situation. So from there, I go to Franklin's Barbecue. Let me just tell you, the best barbecue ever. They knew who Little Miss was, but they are number one for a reason. It was insane. Little Miss Barbecue here in Arizona is the best barbecue that we can get, and it's very good. And the guy, I literally spoke to him about it. He knew all about it. He knows the guy that works there. And this is Franklin's, the number one barbecue place in the world, Aaron Franklin. Their brisket cuts with a fork, and then once you put it on the tip of your tongue, just starts dissolving. It is incredibly good. And I spent like $60 there eating barbecue. It was worth every
you evened out as
cent.
the backpack.
Yeah, true. So
It's like, I got all this extra money.
Like,
Mac
now
and
I can
cheese,
go get
please.
barbecue. I didn't spend $58 on a backpack. I shoplifted it, and now I can go get barbecue.
true. And
You know damn well in
you
your head
really-
you were thinking,
you evened
I just
out.
washed this fucking meal.
no, in my head I was thinking, oh, I didn't have to
I
spend
got a free lunch
$100 some odd dollars
to transport.
to transport
$1.50
food and then-
chips.
Yeah, and then eat
$2
barbecue.
chips.
That's all I could think of.
Sour Patch Kids. And,
These goddamn red vines are killing me.
So I met this family in line at Franklin's, and I had the bag with me. You know, the bag
Why
of
didn't
chips.
we strap a camera to you?
I know. I know.
Like, you have a phone that has this
I know,
capability.
but-
You should be constantly filming shit.
So
This is hilarious.
dude, it gets better. So I don't know if you guys know this about me. This is going to be very shocking to you. I got a little bit defensive about something,
That's weird.
and
Again, I thought we were not going to talk about what happened this week.
I wouldn't have never pegged you for a person that get defensive about anything.
haha. Anyways, so I'm standing there in line with my bag of chips and my backpack, and I'm just waiting. And if you're from the Valley or from Arizona, you know that if you go to Little Miss Barbecue out in Phoenix, you have to wait in a line, and line's out the door, and it's a forever wait in the heat. Yeah. Franklin's is the exact same way. However, the line moves much faster. So I put my bag down. This this guy behind me says something. He goes, I thought I was taking it as offense. I'm going to be honest. If he listens to this, which I told him to, and they all downloaded it in front of me, I took it as he was talking crap about my chips. And I said, so I got like, I was so frustrated from the day of telling everybody what I was trying to do that I just kind of like had a little bit of a blow up. And I was like, yes, I bought chips and now I'm eating barbecue and then I'm leaving. Like, who cares?
Look, I'm already on a watch list because I jumped on a plane with no luggage.
Right.
I've got nothing. They're looking at me weird. They frisked me twice. I shoplifted a backpack.
No, that's my favorite part, going through TSA. And they're like, bag? And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, just put your shoes
Yeah,
away.
I was going to say, that would be weird. I've never gone traveling where it's like, I'm good.
No,
just got my wallet.
I do tell TSA like day trip, and they're like, oh, okay, then they understand. I guess people do that, but a lot of people
they're
bring
called
their
businessmen, and they have like briefcases and documents.
Right.
Gotta go sign multi-million-dollar deals.
You've got a wallet full of $100 bills to buy chips and backpacks.
So I am going to give this guy another shout out on our snack show. But so I met this guy, and his name was Jim Lane, I think. Oh God, I don't have my phone on me, but I know his son's name was Ben Lane. And they were the two nicest people. So after I had my kind of blow up at them, which they didn't even notice, because they are the sweetest people on the planet. I mean, well, you should cry about jokes.
Did you put your finger in their chest and say, fuck it, I'm canceling the show?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking. Go ahead, keep going.
So,
I could imagine. I don't even know you.
So they start. So the son Ben, he is super nice, talking to me about movies, asking me all sorts of questions. I think it was his girlfriend. If I'm getting that wrong, I apologize. She was very, very sweet. She's asking me questions like, "What's your favorite movie of all time?" And I'm like, "You can't answer that. That's an impossible question." Like, and then he's talking to me about like Ari Aster films,
Navy
Hereditary, and like horror films, and stuff like that. And we are just clicking and vibing, and we're like, we're gonna sit together while we eat our barbecue, and we're all high fiving. Yeah, and
eat Toll House cookie dough.
And they went back and they got chips to bring into the restaurant, because I had my chips. And he had like some sweet potato chips that he had found at Sam's Club. They were delicious.
Everyone's just ordering brisket and then going out to their car for the sides. Like, what the hell's going on in Texas?
I just really...
No, just brisket. And then you get like a bag of chips at the table.
Ma, go to the car and get the beans.
I think they're cooked. They've been on the dashboard for an hour.
Well, what sucked was I had to sit outside. It was 104 yesterday in Texas with humidity. Ooh. And I had to sit out and eat the brisket.
And by the hair was curling like
dude,
crazy.
When I got done, I felt sick for 2 hours. Like, I had to drink so much water.
No place to eat inside?
It was like a Salt Lake. No, dude.
I mean, at least you didn't have to wait at the airport for too long.
That gets...
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, so I meet this family, and I hope they're listening. They were so sweet, and it was such a good, experience. And it was just like... You know how, like, when people say, "Oh, I have faith in humanity again," we sat there and we talked.
I've never said it.
We talked about everything under the sun. Everyone was like on the same page, and it was just like, it was such a human moment. And I don't think you only get so many of those in your life, because I didn't know these people from Adam, and like we spent 2 hours talking.
It reminds
Weird.
me,
Strangers, huh?
Yeah.
although me snapping at them, they really still can be very pleasant.
it's like a narrator in his head, but he's saying it out loud. They're like, "What the hell is he saying?"
What I'm trying to say is,
it was at that moment I found friends.
I think we get so disconnected with social media.
I agree.
And like a lot of mental issues stem from that kind of stuff. And it was such a positive experience and such a positive moment. And these people were so nice and wonderful, and like I said, we were all on the same page. Nobody, there was no arguing about anything. We talked politics, we talked movies, everything, and it was just all. It didn't matter what anyone thought, and you cannot replicate that in any way. And it was just, if you are listening, the Lanes, I hope you had a great time at your conference. That will be a great story to tell for the rest of our lives. And humans are good. Like, just get off the internet type of situation. Like, stop thinking whatever. And even the son Ben, he had a Facebook, but he's like, I never use it. I'm on Twitter.
Kind of the same way.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm on Twitter. I was like, well, I was kicked off Twitter because I like to argue, but he thought that was funny and stuff like that. But they were just the sweetest people. So I finally get done. I call the old lady to come get me from Uber, and she picks me up, and she's like, "I'm a degenerate gambler." I'm not That is literally what she says to me. This is not hyperbole. She's like, I'm a degenerate gambler, so I drive Uber because...
Fucking Gary Busey driving his Uber.
Hi, Gary Busey.
Because I asked her.
Hey, where are you going? To the airport? Oh, right.
She
see me in Point Break?
She told me she had been busy all day. And I was like, oh, that's good. I go, do you have a regular job or is this your job? And she goes, well, I'm a degenerate gambler, so I have to drive Uber to and that's the money I
Keep
use
me out
for
of casinos.
No, she goes, I drive Uber to pay for all my gambling debts.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
gosh.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. And then she's talking about like her grandkids and how she takes them on special like days for their birthday, and her granddaughter just had one where she wanted to go shopping.
She's like, I gotta do Instacart to support that though.
She did talk about Instacart because she told me, she goes, what are you doing in Austin? I said, oh, I just came to buy some chips. And she goes,
it's weird. I gotta go pick up some chips before I can take you to the airport.
she goes,
I gotta finish this Uber
do
to support
both
my chip
jobs at
habit.
the same time.
She goes, can't you just Instacart? And I was like, no, Instacart, that's just
It's
for your
local.
local, yeah. And she goes, oh yeah, I do Instacart too. And I was like, well, then
You deliver to Kansas?
then you know what I'm talking about, crazy. But she was telling me about like her grandkids and how they get special days for their birthday, and the granddaughter just had her special day, and the grandson's was coming up, so she needed to like really make a lot of money on Uber, and she makes like $30 an hour, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter, but she was taking the grandson to see Sonic 2.
I like Sonic 2.
And I was like, oh well, I've already seen that. You're kind of late.
Aaron's like, that's fucking terrible.
It's already streaming now.
You're a terrible fucking person. I don't understand how you like shit
How
like
could
that.
you not?
I'm gonna rate this Uber like I rated that movie, 1 star. Complete asshole.
I was like, why wouldn't you take him to see Crimes of the Future, you jerk? No. Don't you know who Cronenberg is? You old giddy? I don't know. No,
You old bag.
So she drops me off at the airport. I run in. I'm like, awesome. I made it on time. I was an hour before my flight. I get up to the gate and I said, hey, I'm here to take the 3 o'clock. And the lady pretty much laughed at me and said, you know you're not, because that flight's full. And I said, okay, when's the next one? And she's like, 6 o'clock. I'll roll you over to it. I said, no problem. Get to the gate, the 6 o'clock gate, and it keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And I am just having the most
I thought
miserable
you were gonna stay the night.
time
honestly.
of my me too.
I'm like,
and you
he's never
can't-
coming
And
home.
Austin Airport is small. You cannot just
The
sleep in
pilot's
the
like, I
airport.
got this gambling problem. I'm doing Ubers. I can't make it to the airport right now.
It's the Guardian.
It wasn't the pilot. It was actually Phoenix. Phoenix didn't have enough tower people.
Light people?
No,
Air traffic
tower.
controllers?
Air traffic controllers. There was because of COVID or something, Southwest in Arizona did not have enough traffic controllers, and they
so
pushed
weird.
all the flights back. And I was in it.
I've never heard of that being a reason.
I was supposed to get home at 6 o'clock at night. I didn't get home till 9:30, and
and that was after a 2-hour difference.
yes.
Like that's ridiculous.
So, I was talking to.
these chips better be good.
Oh, that's all I've said the whole time.
These better be worth
These
it.
better
No,
be.
whether the story's worth it though.
Yeah,
You
so-
apparently met people.
Yeah, well, I didn't stop me, but meeting people. So I met this family, and I didn't mean to meet this
You
family,
need to
but
stop hanging around family.
seriously. So it was a mom and a dad and their 3 kids, but they were the weird mom and dad where they were like, daddy wants to show you something on his phone. Oh, hi, mommy. And I'm like, you are grown-ups. Call each other by your name, call each other honey, whatever the fuck it is you do. It was so I couldn't take it anymore. I started listening to music. Finally, we're gonna board in 10 minutes, and I turned I pulled if you're kind of like a show historian, there's a show we used to listen to, me and Jordan, and there's a guy who likes to turn off his headphones and he's listening to podcasts but not listening to anything.
Oh, I legit still do that.
I
to
do.
This day.
So I was doing that.
I was doing that today at PetSmart.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah,
I just
so-
want to fucking call her and move.
So I turned off my music because I was waiting for the boarding announcement, and I could hear them talking, but I kept my headphones in because I hate my life apparently. And at one point they're talking about the boarding situation, and I had to pipe up and be like, "You're wrong," because I had to be right.
That's weird.
And the guy was like, "Oh, you're correct." And then I started talking to the lady next to me. She was. She's just going to town. She had about 19 glasses of wine,
Sauce.
She had a
sauced
drinking
out of
problem.
her fucking mind. and she was telling me, like, they do the whole, like, oh, are you going to Phoenix? You live in Phoenix? I'm like, I live in Phoenix, blah, blah, blah. Somehow we got to talking about military. Like, I was in the military. And she's like, starts talking politics and just shouting it from the rooftop. And then she calls me out on this thing that I do. If you don't know me, this is a thing that I do. It's nothing personal. It's just the way I've always been. Is if I'm talking to you directly, I look up and to the left or I look past you. It's not personal. It's just like an anxiety thing.
Not a huge eye contact person.
Yeah,
either.
I'm not not at all. And it's not, oh, you have low self-esteem. No, I just can formulate a sentence better if I'm not looking you right in the face.
Oh, he's not wrong. Like, the second we move, if we're in his eye line, that sentence is gone.
Yeah, so
Scott was going to mess with his mic. I'm like, shit, there goes the show.
So she starts rubbing my back, and she's like, yeah, you can look me in the face. And then,
Look at me in the face, Finchie.
That is weird. Like, I don't mind having conversations with random people. The second you touch me, it's
and then
all
she's
bets
telling
are
me
off.
that it's her second husband, and finally get on the plane, and the whole time she's like, remember, find 5 seats together. I'm like, lady, this is Southwest. You are not going to find 5 seats together. You are in C boarding group. Like,
Oh, yeah. You're lucky you're going to get seats.
Yeah, and
You're the back of the plane.
I got on the plane, I flew home, and I couldn't find my truck, and I finally got home about 9, 10 o'clock. So, yeah, I know this is the I'll Watch It Later podcast, but that was the I'll Fly to Austin, Texas later, and it was a crazy day. It will be a fun story to tell. I always have stories to tell when I do these stupid trips. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. It was,
I mean, if we can plan it, I would go with you because someone's got to document this shit.
Oh,
I mean,
you know
we
what?
could just follow you
Next
around
time-
with like a camera.
Yeah, next time I need to go with somebody. The ones where
I need an
where-
adult.
Yeah, where I go
A
alone,
handler.
I cannot seem to function. Like, I can't, I forget backpacks or I forget, and then everything
That's
is weird.
That's everybody though. Like
Yeah.
there is not one time I've ever traveled anywhere that I haven't forgotten something, and
Right.
it's either something as benign as like a toothbrush that I can buy anywhere, or it's like a charger, or
Yeah, but did you go
I
wherever
mean-
you were going to just brush your teeth? Because if you were going
mean,
to just brush your teeth, and
he
forgot
was
your
trying to
toothbrush-
mule fucking
Chips.
I would think he would need a container. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I went and forgot shoes. I don't know how I got all the way here with no shoes on.
I need
Yeah.
one of you guys there, and I know it's not your thing.
I even asked you if you were going to bring luggage too.
and
the
I
other
was.
day.
I had it set up in the room, but I got it off.
You got to put this stuff in front of the door. Like this is how I do it. Like whenever I'm going to go on a trip, I pack everything up and then I put it in front of the door.
You're completely
because
right.
I got. Unless you're like, oh, neat, and you open the door and then like fucking Jackie Joyner Kersey over it and just fucking get out, you'll remember it. So
this is just like a dog shooting for freedom when that door opens.
just
like,
jumps
"Stick!"
out and runs.
No, so I got off work the night before at 9 p.m. I went to bed a little late, and I knew I had to get up at 3 a.m. I went to bed about 11:30, 12 because I couldn't force myself to get to sleep, and I woke up feeling like a bag of shit, like
Or just put it in the truck before.
Yeah, I should have put it in the truck the night before, and all I did was splash water on my face, throw some clothes on, and I was out the fucking door. Like my pants.
Actually, surprised that you went that early.
Yeah.
Like you were texting us, and I'm like, oh my god, why was he already there at like 5 a.m?
I
Like
left
shopping at the HEB. I just clocked into work.
Because
Oh,
those are the
that's
flights.
right.
It's
those-
a 2-hour difference.
those are the flights that
forgot
you
about
get on.
that. Yeah, those are the flights you can get on because no
Right,
one
right.
shows up in the morning. Because, yeah, next time we go, me and you are definitely
Yeah,
you're
I'll do
going
it.
with me. So we'll wait till HEB next special snack, and then I'll.
You'll call Daryl at store number 33. And
No, we're gonna go to Austin because I want
Dustin.
You, I want you. To
Dustin,
eat,
that's
I
right.
want you to eat Franklin's too.
Oh, okay.
Dude, you gotta try it. It's so good, dude. It's the best barbecue I've ever had, and I'm a big barbecue guy. It would have been great if it didn't give me horrific diarrhea, but
Damn it.
Hey,
let's talk about movies.
Yeah,
Shit.
all right. So we all had a week, before. Did you guys watch anything? And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've only watched one other movie besides the movie. So if you guys have
Samesies.
stuff to talk, I know. I think
I was gonna say you guys
we saw
watched
the same movie, but do you want
guys
to talk
watch the same
about which?
movies. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. I after watching the trailer when we went and saw Top Gun for the new Mission Impossible movie, kind of got me on a kick. I wanted to watch them. I hadn't revisited the first one in a long time, so I was like, I'm gonna throw this one on. It's still a really good movie. I mean, it is a little dated in some instances, but for the most part, it still holds up. It's a De Palma movie. It's just fun. I did learn something new about it. I didn't know Danny Elfman did the music for it. and then like after a while, when you start really paying attention, it almost sounds like it's Batman.
You're like,
it's like the Batman or a Batman Returns soundtrack. It's just that very. It's like when John Williams does a movie. It's John Williams. He just has that distinct sound.
Danny Elfman, all his stuff sounds the same.
Right, but I had no idea. I've seen that movie in the theater when it first came out years and years ago, and watching it now, I had never realized that was him. And it was a neat little discovery for me because like
you saw it in the theater.
Mission Impossible 1, yeah, you were like 3, and I was an adult man already.
I had gotten it on VHS, and I think I wore that VHS out because I loved the first one.
Yeah, I think I saw the first one. There used to be a theater over on like Warner and Arizona Avenue.
The United Artists.
Yeah, right by where the Target was.
I saw Inspector Gadget there.
Yeah, I saw a number of movies there, and that's where I saw that. So I
Payback
remember
with
that.
Mel Gibson. Saw it there.
Cutthroat Island.
Big Daddy and Batman Forever, or Batman and Robin.
Ugh,
oh, which one was the
ruined
last
it.
one?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, then Batman and Robin.
Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, so like that was a nice little thing, and then I kind of watched them. I realized that I had put Part 3 up on a pedestal where it's like. Not so much that J.J. Abrams did it, because my thought about him is kind of waned.
Yes.
But the movie, like, I remember it being really good, and then the more I watch it, I'm going, first of all, what the fuck is the rabbit's foot? You never once answer that shit. It's such a dumb thing to put in there. It's such a red herring for any of the plot. And then I realized it wasn't as good as I remembered it. It does not hold up. Like, that's the only one out of all the 6 that I watched this week that wasn't that interesting to me. And it's weird.
I remember everyone hyped it because there was like Carrie Russell's in it. Yeah,
for 5 minutes. Yeah. And then she has the coolest scene where she go, bleep, and then her eyeballs go crazy. Yeah. Like, that's it. The rest of the movie is like Tom Cruise, being in love with somebody and like trying to do shit. And like, I don't know. Like, the vibe of that movie was so different than any of the other movies.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was great.
He was great.
But
he was definitely
I totally
great.
agree. There's a scene in that where they bring him back to life, like he dies or something, and she brings him back to life, and the first thing he does is grab a gun, and I'm like, that's not the way it works. And
is that when they were shocked, like because he had the thing in his head? And oh god.
I know that's a small gripe, but it's just like, don't care.
This is a ridiculous thing. Anyway, look, he looks like somebody else.
Yeah,
there's fake masks and look like everybody.
It was just a stupid plot. I thought.
Yeah, but I think as standalone movies, each of these, the first 3 were kind of they connected, but they were so standalone. And it's not until you get like to Part 4 where everything is now connected and interwoven. Like you start getting characters brought in that go on to the next movies. You've got, even Simon in the last Pegg. 2, Simon Pegg's been in Part 3 through.
Okay, I didn't know if he was in 3. I don't remember him.
Yeah, he was very, very brief. He was like a data analyst,
right.
And then in Part 4, he becomes in the field.
Right.
But then like in the 5th movie and the 6th movie, one of the main bad guys is the same main bad guy. So they're like they branch the story out, right. and it all interconnects in such a good way. I think the first couple are good. The third one kind of like.
Fast and the Furious.
I loved it, but
notes.
And then like it just ramped up on 4, 5, and 6. I'm actually really excited for this next one. Like it was actually really fun. So
dude, the Fallout was so fucking good. I saw it in IMAX, and I think you saw it with me, and we were just like, "This
it's really
is
good,
awesome."
Yeah, like and I think it's just impressive when you really start to. Pull that. Yeah, he's crazy, but man, he does all his own stunts. He was really flying a helicopter in the last one with Henry Cavill, and I don't know. It was a fun rewatch. Makes me excited for next year. I can't believe I blew through 6 of these fucking movies this week. I really got to get a hobby.
There's a line in that one with Henry Cavill and Alec Baldwin where he says something with the gun like, "Oh, is it loaded?" Blah, blah. I don't know. It was just
yeah, because like they kind of figure out that Henry Cavill's like the bad guy, and then he's like, "Ooh," and then Henry Cavill takes the gun and he goes, click, and he goes, "Oh, I guess that wasn't loaded." And he backs up and he goes, "But this one is."
Yeah,
I'm like, fucking Alec Baldwin.
This
is not aged well.
Yeah.
I'm just like the whole time, and it sucks because his character is kind of cool.
Right. I still hate him. But
I'm glad they kind of killed him off because then now with the things that are happening, you won't get to bring him back.
Right, and I could move past anything.
I could separate that shit.
I think people who can't separate art from artists.
Well, yeah, because I was watching 30 Rock and he's in that, and I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. Like I'll love Beetlejuice. Like they're Hunt for Red October. Like we can talk about Alec Baldwin movies and shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's not.
He's gone a little weird, but that's pretty much most of what I do.
My favorite Alec Baldwin is The Departed. But
how's your mother?
Yeah. She's fucking your father.
That's why you're backwards.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Scott and I were watching.
Me and
We
Scott.
watched separately,
Yeah.
But equal.
but equal. Happy Pride Month, everyone. We watched it was just called Hustle.
Yeah, Hustle.
So
With Adam Sandler.
Yeah, and I'm going to preface this by saying a couple things. One thing is, I think Adam Sandler movies are horrific, except for Uncut Gems, which I think is an absolute
You
masterpiece.
don't like Click?
Click.
Spanglish?
Yeah, no, I like
Pixels.
I like Click, and no, what I'm saying is,
Happy Gilmore?
No, I love Happy Gilmore. But
We just keep going. He's like,
what
you know
I'm
what?
saying
Never mind,
is,
I'm wrong.
I think-
Sandler's early stuff is good because that was his comedic.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
his comedic stuff.
That was his real comedic stuff. Now he's just making stuff for dumb people, and I don't mean that in a bad way, and I don't want to discourage anyone from watching anything. But
no, I'm gonna say it. If you liked Hoobie Halloween and you really think that was a great movie, go fuck yourself.
yeah, you're a dummy.
he's on the he's on like he's
drama
he's the
train.
Def Leppard, that he's got to put out 15 albums before his contract is up.
Right.
So now
Well, no,
he's
he made a deal with Netflix.
right.
to
That's
put
what
out
I'm
all
saying
these
is
movies,
now
yeah.
he's on Netflix and
but he
he's
did that
got to
Western.
make 700
but
movies.
that's what I'm saying. He did Hubie Halloween. He did that ridiculous 6 movie, and I thought that that's just the way he was going to go. He was like, I don't care what people say. I'm just going to make the comedies I want to make with my friends.
Yep.
But every once in a while, he comes out with an Uncut Gems, A Punch Drunk Love, and now are just called Hustle. I don't like basketball. If you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know how
I'm
much
not there. I'm blocked.
I fucking despise basketball. I will rail against it. I love watching my friends suffer when their teams are losing in the playoffs.
He's not wrong.
I hate it. I used to be a huge basketball fan when I was a kid. It got too commercial. They started the way that the basketball works is just you can buy your team. It doesn't matter. You guys want to fucking prop LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore.
I think what happened was it became less of a team sport and became each individual person,
and I can't stand that.
I don't like that.
And their egos reflect it. However, this movie about basketball, and apparently every basketball player on the planet Earth was in it.
Yes.
And I didn't know. I just thought those were people that Sandler hired.
Yeah, see, I knew all this stuff because I was like, oh, this guy's in it. Oh, Mark Jackson's in it. Oh, it's Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, it's just
I knew Dirk, and I knew, Allen Iverson when he was doing,
it's just one after another.
I just didn't know that there was a lot of background people
Wait a minute,
that
this is
played
a
themselves.
Space Jam movie.
Yeah, it really was.
Well, for people who haven't seen the movie, he's a scout. So he's a scout for the 76ers.
I wasn't done with my
Well, I'm just saying he's a scout for the 76ers, so he's connected to the NBA, and that's why all these people are in there.
Right. But I think, and we'll get into it, but I think this is worth your time, especially if you're like, okay, this is about basketball. I don't care for basketball, so I'm not going to like this. No, I think this is absolutely worth your time. It's absolutely a Sandler performance you should watch, and just don't let old Sandler fool you. I think Adam Sandler, now that I've seen him in more dramatic stuff, I think he's probably one of the most diverse actors we've ever seen, and nobody really knows that because of Punch Drunk Love, Uncut Gems, and now this. And this is under his umbrella. This is a Happy Madison production. And yeah, there are some comedy. There's some comedy in this, but there's
your typical Sandler quips and
is nothing. It is nothing like Pixels.
All right, with my first pick, I'm going to pick Shabadoo.
Yeah.
Shabadoo.
It's none of
like,
that.
No, stop it.
Rain on Me. That's what I was trying to think of. Have you ever seen?
Oh God,
Yeah.
that movie. Yes, I think I own that.
So yeah, it's a good. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Don Cheadle?
Yeah, Don
Yeah, that's the
Cheadle.
one where
Yeah.
he
he loses his
playing,
wife in 9/11.
Fucking Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus
constantly.
constantly.
That
Yep.
actually made me want to play that game.
Yeah. Hustle, exactly what Scott said. It's about a scout for the 76ers who is trying to find the next big thing. The son played by Ben Foster, which I do not like. Ben Foster as a bad guy. I do not like rooting against him in any way. I love Ben Foster.
Really? Because some of his best roles have been bad guy roles. Like 310 to Yuma, he was
I
a bad
know,
guy,
but
but
I
he's
know.
just
He's
such a
a
guy.
dick in this movie, man.
I know, but he's such an asshole in this movie, and I liked it. If you never saw what was it? Leave No Trace. Oh, he's so good in it. It's so heartbreaking. But anyways, who was the dad that died? Why couldn't I put my finger on it? He's not in a lot of movies anymore.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's
going
gonna kill me. Was it Gene Hackman? It wasn't Gene Hackman.
Oh, Gene Hackman has
No, he was.
acted in a lot
What
of
was
guys.
his? Thief. Godfather. What was his name? The son.
I know it's like in the front of my lobe.
Thief. The movie Thief.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
James Caan.
There it is.
James Caan.
James Caan?
Wasn't it James Caan,
No,
the dad?
it was not James Caan. No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No, but that was really fun. Like, let's do that more often.
Was it Hackman?
I think it was Caan. dude.
No,
Robert
it's
Duvall.
not James Caan.
Robert Duvall. we were way off. Wasn't The Godfather though. So
Man, you're in the world.
yeah, Robert Duvall. He dies suddenly. His son takes over, and he's kind of like this scout who's really good at his job. He's kind of indispensable, but apparently been fostered.
He had protection from the dad,
Right.
the owner. And
but he
when
knew what he was
gone-
talking about because he
yeah.
says, you need to be able to push back, and he does start to push back. He starts honoring it.
You guys named all these people. You didn't touch on Jaleel White.
Yeah,
Urkel's in there, yeah.
Stefan Urkel is in this movie.
Yes, he is. I wanted that to be a surprise.
There's a lot of people in this movie that when they come across screen, you're like, oh shit, yeah.
But
He's still alive.
It's 2 hours long. I thought it was excellent.
Where can one watch this movie?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Netflix is a Netflix original film. I thought we said that in the beginning.
I don't know.
I don't. Whatever you want to say about it, man. But I just wanted to say that
It was. I mean, it takes, if you watch movies about basketball. So, like you were saying, the air up there, where he travels to go find this basketball star, Blue Chips. Like all these other basketball movies, it kind of takes a little bit of all that, but it gives you the story of this guy who's like super dominant, and then he comes over to the United States, and then he kind of gets pulled back because these, he's from Spain. U.S. These guys are just beating on him, and he kind of goes into a shell, and they kind of modernize it by saying, like he can't get into the NBA Combine, so they have this great idea to like just blow him up on social media.
he goes viral.
Yeah, so he goes viral, and that's how he gets his shot. But it's a good movie. It's a heartfelt movie. It's got the guy and his daughter. It's about relationships. Sandler is excellent in this movie. It's a good watch. Is it a fantastic movie that's groundbreaking? Absolutely not. But it's a good 2-hour sit that you will get through it and not realize that you sat for 2 hours and watched a movie.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Do you need everything to be groundbreaking?
No.
Is there?
No.
No.
You're
Yeah.
not going to go out to a fancy restaurant every time you eat. You need something to satiate you and bring nutrition to your body. This is what
that's
these
what
movies
this
are.
does.
This is
Yes.
just something that just gets you to the next
Have
thing. and
you
you're happy
ever
about it.
seen Southpaw?
Yes.
I would compare it to Southpaw in the sense that in Southpaw it runs long because Jake Gyllenhaal has to lose like 4 fights before.
Right.
And so this is the same exact thing, and I was telling Scott this earlier. For some reason, they need to humble this guy 18 times in this film before he gets his shot. And I thought that was a little long-winded. It was a little long in the tooth, as they say. There was no reason for that. They could have easily made this an hour-and-a-half Adam Sandler movie and still gotten the same aspect of it, but you have to watch this guy get humbled like a billion times by real basketball players. And maybe that was part of the deal. Like, yeah, we'll be in your movie, but you can't make us look shitty compared to like an actor or something. So all I would say about that is like, yeah, it's 2 hours. Yes, that's long. And there's going to come a time where you're watching it and you're like, why am I still watching this guy not get it? What the hell?
Water.
Yeah. Okay. So like, that's the only complaint I have. It's very Southpaw in that, and that was my only gripe about Southpaw.
and-
So it has the same problem as Southpaw.
And Sandler, loves basketball, so I think he was due for this type of movie. Because if you look at Uncut Gems, he had basketball players in it.
Right.
He
loves
this guy's
basketball.
notoriously playing pickup ball in fucking New York randomly, and
This is his
sweats and oversized T-shirts.
Yeah,
like
this is his
his
homage
thing.
to NBA.
Yeah.
This is his thing where he could get all his NBA buddies
Right.
together and make a movie.
I mean, you've got a production company.
It's a tax write-off to hang out with your friends.
Right. Let's just why not?
But the script was really good.
That's good though. I mean, I'm glad it's not just one of those throwaway things.
Yeah,
I'll
and
check it out eventually. I just when you
should do
told
it
me
this
about
weekend.
it, you're like, hey, let's you should probably check it out. And this was like 4 PM. I'm like, there's no chance I watch this between now and when I come see you.
Well,
Trying to watch it this weekend.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I was
Everybody's getting
watching-
here. It's just gonna be a busy week.
Right,
I was
can't
watching the
guarantee
movie. We're doing it on kind of a short week, with a day. But
Right.
we're doing it on a short week, and I just happened to pop on Netflix and I saw this, and I kind of read it, and I was like, oh, an NBA guy, and I'm like, I could get into this. It's a Sandler
Did you
film.
say you were on Reddit?
No.
Oh.
No, I just said I was watching the movie, and I said,
like, what the fuck are you
I
doing?
popped
Reddit?
on, and I said, and I read,
Manifesto.
I read the thing of what the movie was,
Got it.
and was like, oh, I can get into this. It's an NBA. I like basketball, man. I can watch this, and it was good.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 3.5.
Okay, so I was only going to do 3.
Yeah,
because I think it's good for Sandler, but overall, it's not a great movie. Not a terrible movie, but just not a great. movie.
It's a good watch. It is rewatchable.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's definitely a rewatchable movie. And
if this came across like just randomly, I wouldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
I do have a soft spot for sports movies. I mean, I'll watch Tin Cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't like golf, but I'll watch Tin Cup. You know,
Yeah.
like I'll just watch a good
and
sports
it's got a feel good story in there. You know, it's
I
like
mean, we saw that fucking golf movie.
the guy that plays that plays Bo Cruz that
Gotcha.
that he goes over to find. He's kind of like he's very very like hardcore, but you root for him. You're kind of rooting for him to make it, you know, and it's so you're waiting for him to get his big break through the movie.
And you know what's going to happen. You just have to be reminded 25 times that he's a hothead and he's hardcore under, or like he can't handle it under pressure, and how is he going to overcome
So
this?
what did
a
you?
lot of movies.
So without ruining the ending, what did you think the ending? What other Sandler movie did the ending remind you of? Big Daddy, when they go into Hooters.
Oh,
And they're all like, you know, oh yeah, they're all
Yeah.
meeting each other at the end of Hooters. I was like, oh, this is like the NBA version of
yeah,
Big Daddy.
you're right, absolutely.
Yeah, because I actually like that Kevin James movie. I think that was a Happy Madison production too.
Which one?
When he was the Saints coach.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was another one that he did because
yeah.
it had like half of Sandler's family in it.
It does.
But yeah, I
she's
mean,
not
this is
in it.
his
I
thing.
realize Queen Latifah plays his fucking wife.
And she's not annoying.
She is not annoying, and her daughter wants to go to film, or his daughter wants to go to film school, which I was totally into. She's like, "Can we go see Evil Dead?" And then Evil Dead's not even playing, so I was very upset at that. It's some other horror film. I think it was Children of the Damned or something in the background.
It's something, yeah.
But all right, so let's get into.
Yeah, let's get this.
I chose 2006 film, animated film, Paprika.
1, 2, 3.
In the very near future, a group of brilliant scientists have created a machine that can control our dreams. But now, the device is missing. To solve the mystery and save humanity, she must stop the dream terrorists from altering our minds. From Satoshi Kon, the acclaimed director of Perfect Blue and Tokyo Godfathers, comes a visionary tale that crosses the line between reality and imagination. Paprika.
Honestly, I think you can leave the trailer out because
No one's gonna know.
No, everybody has to listen to the damn trailer again.
Just play the audio from the movie, like just
how
90
much
minutes
time
of
do we
audio.
have left?
Who cares?
I mean, we got plenty of time.
Of course we
plenty of
do.
time.
We got a big SD card in here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like
I think we're all
it's
on the
always
same page.
satisfying when you pick something that you like talked very highly about. Oh, this is highly recommended. It's got a good score. It's supposed to remind me of this. I'm very excited. And then when you come at me and you go, bro,
At least
I'm having
know-
trouble watching this right now.
At least
and
I know I'm on the same page.
yes, and it makes me feel good because like I get to these moments where I may not enjoy something, and I'm sitting there going, "Fuck,
Am I the asshole?
I have to be the dick that
Yeah, am
says
I the
I don't like
asshole?
this." And when you say I don't like this, I'm like, "Thank God." God.
Okay, so here's the deal. A lot of people over the years have recommended like Perfect Blue to me, and I'm not even saying this is done by the same people or that all anime is the same or anything like that. But all I've ever heard my entire adult life is that this film is like a direct like representation of fucking Inception, and this is where Christopher Nolan got the idea. And this was and I'm not even sure which one came out first.
This movie did. Inception came out. Actually, Inception was the inspiration for Inception.
Right,
I was
and
gonna
that
say
is
Inception
all
was
I've
like
ever heard. And
2010?
I don't have my stupid
And,
phone
and
on
there's
me.
some. I think it was 2010. But there are some direct things. I mean, at the end of the movie, when you're in the city and the city is like warping and shit.
Yeah,
Right.
I
you
was
could
like,
see
this
those-
is
Or
Inception.
when there's a part where she's like, she touches something and it breaks
The
apart.
glass,
And
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly a scene with Ellen, now Elliot Page, in Inception. And I was like, okay, I saw some of the reference, but the story is so fucking convoluted. It's so far out there.
It's murky.
If they said DC Mini one more time, I was going to fucking put my
I'm not
hand
gonna lie,
through a
it's-
goddamn window.
I'm not saying anyone at this table personally is stupid. This is not how I'm saying it. But I'm sitting there going, I'm pointing at Scott as I say it. I sit here and I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of art house movies. Aaron's the same way. We watch a lot of things that are not mainstream, that have weird fucking stories. I feel like we follow along with these kinds of things pretty well. I found myself confused as shit for about half of this movie.
Yeah.
And then when it finally started to explain what was going on, it went fucking batshit crazy again. And I'm sitting there going, the average guy, the normal viewer, someone like Scott or just anybody is going to sit there and go, this is garbage.
So this
And
is
I'm
my
confused.
second attempt at watching like an anime.
What was your first?
So we'll rewind it a couple of
Ratatouille.
ticks. Yeah, so everybody has always tried to get me into anime. It's, do you watch anime? No, it's not my thing.
Now,
Do you watch anime? Nope, it's not my thing. Everybody watches anime. The first one, somebody brought me a disc and was like, you have to watch this. And it was Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell's awesome.
There was a ring on the TV, and then
Yes, and I tried watching that, and it was fine. I just couldn't get into it.
Oh, see, I love Ghost in the Shell.
So this was like my second attempt. This was the second attempt for like a Japanese anime type
I'm
thing.
so sorry that this is your
And-
second foot into the pool of
And
anime.
it's already like this genre and this style that I just don't get into as the movie goer that I am. I'm not into anime. I'm not into I don't go shop at the mall stores that have all the anime stuff.
swords.
I think I've made you go
all the
into
swords
it.
and the Goku like tapestry that you
Yes.
can
So I really want to, and I really want to preface this by saying I am an anime. I love Dragon Ball Z, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, well that's
whatever. Who
that's
cares?
entry level fucking. That's fine. I like Ghost in the Shell. I like Psycho-Pass, Mob
Akira.
Psycho 100, Akira, which I didn't see till a couple years ago in the theater. I like Naruto.
How stupidly excited just for
fucking-
that brief second when he at the end of the movie when he went to go see a movie, it said Tokyo Godfathers
Oh,
on the marquee. I'm
yeah.
like, oh fuck, why aren't we watching that?
Yeah, exactly. I've seen Tokyo Godfathers.
too.
It's amazing. I love anime. Attack on Titan, dude. Don't even get me started. I watch Fire Force. Listen, I'm an anime guy.
No, name more.
This
That
is
was only 1%.
this is Yu Yu Hakusho. This is just not. It's not good. I don't know why people like it.
The internet raves about this.
I know, and I don't understand why.
No, here's the
I didn't
thing, though.
like
Like, I
any of the
looked up-
characters. I didn't even understand
No.
anything what was going on.
There's nothing relatable about any character in this movie.
They said Paprika 115 times. I didn't care about her.
Paprika.
I didn't even understand what her main goal was, or what exactly she was.
So now, did you guys watch the dubbed version, or
Yeah,
did you watch
I
the
did.
original version?
I watched dubs.
I subtitles. I never watched dubbed anything.
I
I always
do.
think I think the voices always sound weird.
I did.
Never-
I started watching the original with the subtitles,
Yeah.
and I found a dubbed version, and I'm like, I put it on, and I was getting the exact same verbiage as the subtitles, and I'm like, I'm just watching this version because I cannot.
The dub
I
was
can't
Oh,
read
like
this.
okay. So when the
Was
first
terrible.
when
It was weird.
the first time after they talked about the DC sniper,
DC Mini.
sure, and then the short doctor that I swear to God if they did a live action that's
Gundam Wing.
It's like Danny DeVito.
exactly it's Danny DeVito with glasses on. He starts talking, and I thought I got fucked up subtitles None of it made sense. Words weren't making sense. I thought they were just throwing things together because we're stupid. And it's like, if you don't understand Japanese, you're fucked. It was the weirdest scene. And then he throws himself out the window. I'm like,
Right. Yes. Okay.
Weird.
So I was going to say the weirdness starts right away with that guy
Almost
throws himself
immediately.
out of the window, and then I'm like, why did he do that? What the hell was he
and
talking
then he's
about?
like in a parade, and like music is weird.
That was
and
creepy.
Well, the movie
it starts off creepy.
the movie
Like, the
takes
guy-
off.
Yeah,
you
immediately.
think that you're like, okay, there had to have been another movie before this that explained everything about what's going on up to this point, but it's not. It's just like, hey, we're just gonna throw you straight into this movie,
Yeah.
not tell you what anything is about, other than there's this thing that you put in your ear that controls your dreams,
DC Sniper.
and that's the only thing that you know going into this movie.
Yeah, and it was it just became more convoluted. At one point, you think Paprika, and then he rips that skin off, and it's that other girl. What was her name?
No, it was God, I have it pulled up.
Chimera.
Chimera.
I
Yes,
think
it's
it was-
Chimera. No, it was
Chima?
Dr. Atsuko Chiba.
Yeah, and dude, I don't know. I glossed over. Like I didn't fast forward anything. I watched it, but I was barely
It's
watching
hard
it.
to
I was
hold your
just
attention in this
kind of
movie.
There's moments in this movie
was
that
on.
will bring you back.
The nudity.
The weird it gets.
The
Well,
nudity.
yeah,
the giant nude
the
woman at the
giant
end.
nude woman fighting like
the nightmare man.
the boobs and the no
That
vagina.
is when I
Yeah.
Well, you
yeah,
have
just
to.
like
It's Japan.
just like well, just
It's
like
like the Japanese, they procreate through labs.
Attack on Titan. It's giant humanoid figures.
test
who-
tubes.
Barbie vagina.
No, when I texted you, that's when I texted you because there's this giant fight at the end between like a nightmare man and something else.
Who is the chairman of like their psychology group?
Right.
Who apparently, and I had to look this up. Like legit, watch this
We
movie. I
read
had
the plot on
I had to
Wikipedia
watch.
after I got done.
Yep, I had to look at the plot to figure out why
that was more
two of the
interesting than
characters
movie.
were together,
Right.
trying to stop the DC sniper from killing everybody.
DC Mini.
DC Mini. It's I couldn't. I hate that I couldn't follow this. Like I've seen some crazy fucking movies that I couldn't understand the plot. This movie makes no sense. Zero
Yeah.
sense to me.
I apologize right now for picking it. Like
Paprika?
I honestly
Again, with movies
all-
we haven't
I
seen,
know,
it's
but
hard,
it's,
man.
It is one of those that have been recommended. Oh, you like Inception? Oh, you like those type of
We're not
Christopher
going to
Nolan
scream at you. Don't
films. Yeah, you're gonna love this. I did not love this. I thought this was too convoluted and
Oh, the story.
honestly
is weird to me. Like
boring.
I've seen weird.
If it,
I
boring.
mean, we've seen anime in the theater together. Like we've
Oh,
seen movies
Weathering
where
with You.
I love that movie. But I just yeah.
If
I
this
don't know.
is an introduction to try to get somebody to watch anime,
It's not
No.
a good start.
again, I am on strike 2, man, because it's just I don't know if it's just me or
you gotta watch things with like giant mechs or something.
I-
Or fucking
yes.
Gundam Wing or
I
have a
just
Gundam Wing
I
right
just
there.
never
See?
really got into the whole anime thing. It was
Watch
just
Endless Waltz.
it's just never something that
I'm
just
s-
appealed to me where I could sit down and say, yeah, I'm gonna watch this anime. Some people they live for that, man. That's all they watch.
I
I
think
I
a
can't
good-
bring myself to that.
I think a good introduction to get used to how anime is to watch a Miyazaki movie. Watch the watered down Miyazaki type movies. Watch Princess Mononoke. Watch Howl's Moving Castle. Things like that.
I mean,
Those-
I was
Totoro.
watching Japanese
Those are
anime
great.
before a lot of people were, man.
Like what?
I
Fist of
watched
the North
Voltron.
Star?
name
dude.
5 movies. Oh, I love Voltron.
I watched Voltron.
What's
dude.
that?
Yeah, it's
Voltron
technically-
was technically.
I thought
yeah,
it was
that
American made.
no.
No, it was all. It was all dubbed over.
He's
for
like, I
American.
watched Speed Racer. No,
I mean, that's still Japanese.
yeah, I know.
I loved Voltron, man.
Voltron was my
But
fave.
it
I
had
love
that
it.
stupid. That had that weird anime where it was like the voices and the characters are very animated. Like super over the top.
Watch Neo Genesis Evangelion, please.
It's really good.
It's so good.
We got one more chance at it.
I know.
We
That's
got
what I-
we really I think we really got
That's what I'll push you towards.
we have to really pick our fight here because we got to find something benign enough that he'll be like, yeah, that was pretty good, and then we can move him into something else.
Akira.
It's fucking bottom of the ninth.
Akira's
It's got
fucking
we're
great.
Yeah.
2 outs
But
and
see,
2
is
strikes.
Akira?
man.
Okay. Here's what
I
I
don't
think.
know
Is
if he can
Akira
handle-
too weird for him?
I don't think so. I think he might get
Like,
weird
do
at
we need
the
to stay away
end.
from like tentacle monsters and crazy shit like body horror?
No, I don't. I think he'd be okay.
I'm
with
into
Akira.
weird shit. I mean, like I said, said, you know, like you got Stranger Things, you got shit like that. That's like super weird stuff. I don't mind that.
Yeah, but no, anime is weird though. Like, I mean, we saw a woman strapped to a table looking like a butterfly, and then the guy sticks his hand into her non-vagina.
That's what I was saying.
Rips up to her chest and then opens her up like it's like she was in a cocoon. Like this is weird. And
I was hoping he was going to make her a hand puppet.
And if you're wondering why we're not spending too much time talking about it, because it's not a good movie. There's nothing to talk about. You can watch it. You can watch the parade, or the fat guy order a million things.
Yes. So let's get to that. No, I'm not saying you. Like, think about like the Blob from like X-Men and all that stuff. The most obese, monstrous of a person, where they have to do the scene where it's like, hey, who ordered this 5-piece family platter? Me. Who ordered the steaks? Also me. Who ordered the 19-piece chicken fillets? Oh, also me. And then like, okay, we get it. He's fucking fat. Stop going to Austin. And
you can't fit in the plane seat.
And then it turns out the hot doctor who was trying to figure out who stole the DC sniper, and it's so good, and who ends up being Paprika, was in love with him the whole time. And it's like, oh, so the story's about inner beauty.
That's a tough love, though.
This is the dumbest fucking way to get to that.
Because at the end she calls him a fat slob.
You fucking fat slob, but your brain is awesome. And then she's like, I'm changing my name. Go see a fucking movie. Yeah. And that's how it ends. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? And I sent them a GIF like going like, that was really weird or something to that effect. And I'm sitting there going, they haven't watched it yet. They're not responding.
Right. At one point he's like, what did he go?
I think I was the first one to watch it, though. Because I actually watched it, and I held the sheets up to my fucking chin, man. Because I'm not saying anything.
Like, I'm gonna hate this.
I'm like, I want to see what these guys say about this. Because if I was like, if you motherfuckers come back,
spectacularly weird.
Yeah, if you come back and say this was the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen, I was like, I don't even know what to fucking say at this point, man. I'm like, I'm gonna be the asshole at the table that's like, this is fucking. I didn't get it.
That was my fear with Aaron. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm sitting here going, he hasn't said one word about this yet. And then you come in this afternoon.
So hard to focus on it. And everyone was sleeping in my house. I had nothing but time. Right. I got it to pull up on my TV without using my phone. I was able to go to the actual website because I wasn't paying for it. Thank God.
I thought,
don't you own it?
I was looking for this fucking movie and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to fucking pay $2.99. And then I just started Googling shit, and I finally came across something.
Thank God.
I had to click on this website, and it just kept popping up with like anime titties and stuff, and I had to keep like closing out like these pop-ups and shit. But
an hour later, Scott finally got to the movie.
Watch redo of Healer, and then we'll talk. That's a really weird tentacle porn thing.
So no.
I was. There was no. Like I said, everyone was asleep in the house.
It's confusing.
There was nobody, and I'm sitting there, and that's why I wasn't.
You want to know what your wife said?
What?
She sends me a picture of the movie that you guys are watching. And I just replied, LOL.
Did she watch it with
you? And she comes back and she goes, this anime is so fucking stupid.
It is.
And she goes, and I'm not even watching it.
It's just, it's a hard, convoluted plot. It really is. And it's just, it's a lot of, let's try to get to a spot and tell a different story in the last 3 minutes of the movie that make no sense to the overall arching plot.
Well, when you go online to so I go on to research it because I'm like, what does everybody see in this fucking movie? The story of them explaining it is way more interesting than the actual movie.
Maybe I'll watch that
because they're like, these are about your dreams and how, and so it gets really fucking deep. So it's like, so. If you spend all your time in this dream world and you put all your energy to these dream worlds, you forget the real you on the outside, and that's what's important. And that's why she ends the movie with this big fat slob in the fucking elevator,
a toy robot through half the
because
movie.
That's the important stuff. It's not about all the the things that you want in life and you dream to have and all this other bullshit. It's all, and I was like, that's way more interesting than the
internet.
fucking
If they
movie.
could have told that story,
yes,
for the first 85 minutes, but you can't shove the plot in the last 5 minutes and expect me to think
they shoved
this is
it
great.
Right up a fucking plastic vagina.
This is Waterworld. You can't piss into a fucking Mr. Coffee and expect Taster's Choice. Right. You just can't do it.
internet probably loves it so much because they're the fat slobs thinking that the hot chicks are gonna love them because they're spending all their time in like Dungeons and Dragons and World of Warcraft.
Well, and they're
waiting for their Professor Chima or whatever her name is.
This is my problem with Rotten Tomatoes, and this is gonna go to a different whatever. I'm not gonna go into too much. It's getting an 81. I'm like, oh, an 81, that's great. 23 people reviewed this movie. Oh. It's not 400 people said it's pretty good, 81. I would take that. So when you idiots are out there on Rotten Tomatoes looking at these scores, look at how many people are reviewing it. Look at who's reviewing it.
Stop saying
if
that
they look sweaty in their picture, don't believe them. They don't go outside.
It was 23 people or 23 critics?
23 just critics.
23
critics.
Because here's my thing. When it comes, everyone's like, you can trust the audience score more than you can trust the...
No, because the audience is dumb
can't.
Too.
The audience reacts to everything. Star Wars calls them racist on Twitter, and they all immediately go over to everything Star Wars and just immediately start review bombing it. You can't. Here's how it works, everybody. This is going to be a quick lesson in how to use Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes. When you see the score and you're like... And you're a big man and a big, you're going to make your own decision and you don't need Rotten Tomatoes to tell you how it is. No, you don't. What it is an algorithm site and it takes everyone's review and it just matches it up and tells you. So what you do is you go on there and you start reading some of those reviews. You start reading the people's reviews. Then you find 3 or 4 people that you agree with. Or
certain sites. Like there are certain sites that I think I hold into a higher regard than say like fucking Bloody Disgusting.
Right.
Or whatever.
And
you know what I mean?
so after you read the reviews or the sites and you decide, okay, these are the people that I agree with that are the closest to how I think about movies. Then when you see a 96 on fucking Rotten Tomatoes and you go back and you read those 3 and all 3 of them like it, chances are you're going to like it.
Yeah.
It has, but you see like a 72, and you go back and you read, and 2 of the people that you really hate it, and the other,
why did I watch it?
Yeah, the other people don't like it, and it's kind of mixed. Then you make up your own mind. It's not fucking gospel. It's not.
Yeah, the more you know.
Yeah, it really isn't. And I shouldn't have to explain this.
Well, yeah, because we're the idiots right now. As soon as we're wrapping up, we're gonna rush our asses over to go watch a movie.
Nobody likes
40%.
Everyone I have talked to that I respect said that it is boring.
I don't care. I want to go see dinosaurs. I want to see Alan Grant. I want to go see fucking
Sam Neill could literally just sit there and read the dictionary and I'll watch it.
I want to see him with no eyes and tell us that.
Yeah, I want Jeff Goldblum to go, life finds a way or whatever.
Just unbutton his shirt.
So, So what did we give Paprika?
Scott, what do you go?
For me, like I said, this is definitely not a movie if you're trying to introduce somebody into an anime. Maybe they like it. I don't know. It's just, for me, it seems it was way fucking out there. Like you were saying, very murky. Didn't really understand what was going on until probably halfway through the movie till they start really kind of explaining stuff. And I'm not stupid. Like, I get it was the whole dream thing.
Debatable.
But, it's like, even the average person, like, if this is something you're trying to introduce somebody to anime, it ain't gonna fucking happen. This is not a movie that I really enjoyed watching. I don't know anything about anime. It was a clean slate for me. It's a 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan?
I'm going to give it a 1.5, and it's purely based on, I believe the animation does look really good. Like, it is it's a very good art style. I feel like, it plays well with that. I've seen a lot of anime. I think it's very clean in the way it is. I think they had a story there they could have told, but they just... it's weird because, like, I feel like the story should have been more about, like, Paprika and the detective interacting.
That's what I thought it was going to be about.
I thought that's what it was going to be, too. It starts off with the detective, Paprika helps her, and then it becomes this weird fucking 3 people chasing after, the weird henchman. I don't know. And then it becomes this other story,
Professor
like
X.
I said, exactly, in the last, 5 minutes. So I feel like a better story could have been told. I do see the connections to Inception and how maybe there's, bleed over and some of that, but I feel Inception told a better story. 1.5, just solely based on I think it's a visually good movie.
That's fair. And I'm going to give it a 2, and only because it inspired Inception. And Inception is a great fucking movie. The animation was fantastic. There is a line in this where she goes, "You should really watch your food intake." And no one talks like that, and I find stuff like that to be hilarious. So it's
Fatty, stop eating the 3rd steak at this fucking diner.
So it is a 2 for me. Never watch it again.
I'll never. And I've seen the cover art, and when you picked it, I was like, okay, I keep running across it, but I never.
But this is
watch
definitely an I'll watch it later because people constantly told me to watch this shit, especially after I was like, I love Inception. They're like, Paprika did it first. It's like, yeah, well, clearly not very well. So, all right. So next week we have Jordan's film. Jordan, what will we be watching?
I will be watching the 1965 war epic. I'm just kidding.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Starring Don Knotts.
Show's over.
Actually, you know what, though? Unfortunately, this does play into some war stuff.
Shocker.
This will be 1977 animated classic, Wizards.
There will come a time on the planet Earth when science and technology will be long forgotten, when humanity will rise from the ashes of nuclear holocaust, when wizards will rule the world. 20th Century Fox presents Wizards, a futuristic fantasy epic born in the mind of Ralph Bakshi, the master of animated magic. It is the story of two brothers, Avatar and Black Wolf, powerful wizards, and mortal enemies from the day they were born. Avatar, the good, who rules the peaceful kingdom of Montagar with wisdom.
Science and technology were outlawed millions of years ago.
And magic. Black Wolf, the future Führer.
Attention! Behold!
Who rediscovers the ancient secrets of propaganda, technology, and war. And sends out his mutant armies in a reign of unimaginable terror. In Wizards, you will also meet the lovely Princess Eleanor, the loyal elf Weehawk, and Peace, Black Wolf's evil robot henchman, who is transformed into an avenging instrument of justice. Wizards is a Tolkien world of fairies and elves, sorcerers, and demons. It is shot 10 million years from now, against strange and huge panoramic settings. And it is more fantastic, more enchanting, and more powerful than anything you've seen before. Wizards, the ultimate futuristic fantasy
All right.
epic.
This is a post-apocalyptic Earth. A wizard and his fairy folk comrades fight an evil wizard who's using technology in his bid for conquest.
How
So basically, it mixes kind of
70s, huh?
77. Mark Hamill does a voice in it. This is pre-Star Wars, or around the same times he was filming Star Wars.
You said
We're
it's
gonna get-
77.
77.
Star Wars came out in 77.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
He
know,
said he was doing this
it's
pre-work.
You know, right around. You know, he probably did the voiceover in like 76. Same with like filming Star Wars. So like, this is a young 19-year-old Mark Hamill doing voices. This is in the movie, so I'm looking forward
Hell
to it.
yes.
Yes.
Is that a spaceship?
Yes, it's a
Swastika spaceship?
It's a windmill. It kind of blends like World War II era like themes with like Middle Earth type shit.
I've never heard of this movie, so it better be good.
I've
clearly you
I've
have.
seen. Well, I've seen like the poster for it. I know of its existence. I've seen like the trailer and I've seen little bits and pieces, but I've never sat down and watched it. So that's my pick. I'm actually looking forward to it.
All right,
We'll
what's
see.
your pick, Scott? I'm just kidding. All right,
Skipping
so
a week.
We will watch. Is it called The Wizards or Wizards?
No, Wizards.
All right, Wizards,
Wizards is a
1977.
bad basketball team.
Who directed it?
Oh, good question. I have it pulled up right
The
now.
Wizard. Fred Savage.
I think he's canceled.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. The director is Ralph Bakshi.
Okay.
And he did a lot of some of those
Commercials.
Fritz the Cat,
Oh, I have.
Fire and Ice,
Okay.
the Lord of the Rings, like the Rankin and Bass ones.
Oh, that's why the
So
animation looks like that.
He's done a
Okay.
lot of animated movies. He did Cool World. He directed Cool World.
I hate that movie.
It's
so
such a bad movie,
Awesome.
so I'm looking forward to it.
Brad Pitt, right?
Brad Pitt, yeah.
I walked out of it when I was a kid.
It's not
Never
good.
watched it again.
Cannonball Run, I believe,
Ne-
two.
Never
Cannonball Run
returned to it. All right. Well, that is
Coonskin.
whatever that is.
That's our next movie.
All right, guys.
It's animated. You can pick it.
We really appreciate you listening to us, and to all the people I met in Austin this week. Thank you so much for your hospitality, your
stars
support.
and stripes are deep at night.
Deep in the heart of Texas, or whatever those words are. I don't know. Everything's bigger there. I always think of that song by Blake Shelton. If this is Austin, I still miss you. Whatever the hell. Anyways.
Didn't know you were going to get that at the end.
Hey, I know you really don't put a lot of sound effects into this show. I need screeching brakes right there.
Whatever, I'm ending the show. I'm just wrapping it up.
Wreck.
Howling dog.
So I just want to tell you that if you suggest a movie and Jordan has seen it, do not tell him that he's lying, or the wrath of God will come upon you.
And if you're lucky, this show will exist next week.
So, as always, I am Aaron.
I'm Jordan.
And Scott.
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.